ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ। ਭੂਲ ਛਿਮੋ ਹਮਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਪਨ, ਭੂਲਨ ਹਾਰ ਕਹਾਂ ਕੋ ਮੋਸੋ। हवाए बंदगी अबुर दर वजूद मरा, वगरने ज़ौक़े चुनी आमद नमुद मरा। ना साजो ना बाजो ना फौजो ना फर्श, खुदावंद बख्शन दे ऐश। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। We visit the topics of spirituality on Saturday, issues which are relevant, which we find interesting or explore our inner spirituality through this discourse. Today I would like to talk about the transformation which is needed for a spiritual person. In my understanding, the culture and the approach to spirituality is all confusing. As of now, most of us are wandering in the dark. We are not aware of what we are looking for, what spirituality means, and what is my quest, where will it take me, what do I need to do. The understanding of life is an essential part of understanding our spiritual self. And in today's modern education, this is not a topic which is explored. There is a part of today's education which looks at psychology of the mind, but it doesn't look at that part of the mind which is the spiritual part, where the mind is transformed. That mind is not explored in modern psychology. So we are at a loss to understand, why do I need religion, spirituality? Why do I need to explore these things? What is the necessity? My everyday life is dependent on the physical. My senses are capable of giving me that information which is relevant to live this physical life. And I look after this physical aspect of life, and that should be enough. There is no need to go beyond. But then, why there is no need to go beyond, and why there is a need to go beyond? Why do I need to go beyond the physical reality of life? In fact, beyond even the body. Because to most of us, I am defined as this body to start with. And I am then conditioned by various aspects of my environment and my desires. That's what drives this I to get flavor, to get accent, to get certain styles. And then I hold on to that I, the difference I have created between others and me, and I hold on to that as my identity, that this is me, I'm different from others. And we live our life. But this life is built on the platform of I am, which is the ego mind. What is the reality of the ego mind? What is the depth of the ego mind? And what is this journey of life? is actually defined by the relationship between the ego and the non-ego mind, the moving and the non-moving mind. As Guru Nanak says, between home and hukam. Maharaj, this is now, I'm bringing in the Japji as part of the experience. And I don't know the hukam because I am always living the ego mind. I'm not ever free of the moving mind. The thought mind is dictating my entire life, the thoughts. And all these thoughts are coming from where? What are these thoughts? The source of these thoughts? And how I can relate to these thoughts. That is something which I don't do. What I do is I live with a constant bombarding of thoughts, waking, sleeping. Then the other thing which happens to all of us is that since we don't have information, since we have not searched, khojo, we assume. So I'll give you some assumptions. There is no such mind as thoughtless mind. This is, to me, an assumption. But someone says it with such firm conviction, they are so sure about it, that there is no point in arguing. And most of us make the biggest mistakes when we are very sure. When we are very sure about what we are doing, often enough without researching, without searching, without inquiring, we land into a decision which is disastrous. And in fact, in Gurbani there is one concept which is prevalent which says the living dead. They are living but yet dead. They are human form, they are living, they are talking, they are discussing, but they are dead to the reality of life. What is the reality of life is not explored. Most of us don't explore it, don't want to explore it, because we don't understand the relationship between this reality of life and what I am seeking. There is a direct relationship. And what are we all seeking? So we will settle that issue. We are all seeking happiness, and we are seeking it forever. And what does this seeking happiness, what is that relationship with the reality of life? Reality meaning that part of life which never changes, which is always stable, which is non-moving, non-thought mind. Now we assume there is no such mind as non-thought mind because we have never experienced it consciously. In deep sleep we experience this mind, the sukhopat avastha, jakarat supan sukhopat. When the REM sleep has gone, the mind has vanished suddenly for some time. This is the sukhopat avastha. There is no mind. Science doesn't find any movement at all. It's completely still. There are no currents in the brain. Now this is one assumption. There is no such mind as thoughtless mind. Another assumption is there is no such thing as life beyond death. There is no such thing as reincarnation. These are assumptions. We don't know it, but we assume it. And we assume it with a certain conviction. And that conviction is so sure that we are not willing to explore. We are not willing to search, to find out, to experience. We are not even willing to go into our own mind. So, a journey from one place to another has a route map. But we are telling ourselves we are journeying to another place, and we have thrown away the route map. We are saying we are journeying into our happiness, and we don't know the route to it. We assume the routes to it. That's now the fourth assumption we have in our lives. That once I handle the physical aspects of life, I will be happy. That once these issues which are in front of me, if I am able to solve these issues, then I will be happy. Then I will, if I need to explore the spirituality, the mind, the other things of life. But once these are settled, it will be done. A very big assumption. Life's issues are not structured to be settled in the way we think they will be settled. It's a dynamic, moving mind, dynamic, changing form, shape, which we have to constantly readjust to. That's the reason this journey is so taxing. It absorbs us so completely. It's because everything is changing, and change needs energy to cope with. It's cold weather, I have to change my diet, I have to change my dress, I have to change my temperature at home. Temperature changes, I have to change everything. When it rains, I need to cover myself, not get wet. So what I'm saying is that life requires a constant adjustment, a constant energy investment to survive it. To be physically fit, everything which we do in life is needed to survive life. But so we don't get the time to go beyond this aspect of the mind, of the life, which is the body, the society I live in, the physical life. I invest everything I have in my family, my body, my health, my education, my career, my social contacts. Everything is invested in that. There is one anomaly in this whole assumption game which we play. What about death? How do we address this issue of death in our day-to-day life? So the simple thing is we don't. We ignore death. We don't discuss death. We don't talk about death. Death is a bad thing, so we hide it somewhere under the carpet. We will never be dying is assumed. To some extent that is needed. It's a necessary evil. If I assume today that I will not die, or I will die, that I can go to sleep at night and morning I may not wake up, that would mean that I will not be able to sleep. So this assumption in the short term is necessary for life to carry on. Otherwise I can't go for a meeting, I can't plan for tomorrow, I can't look at my share market pricing. Everything will go away tomorrow or any minute. Then there's no need to invest in anything, which is the other extreme. But in this assumption of my physical reality, I've made an extreme calculation to ignore death, and I feel that's safe, because once I've ignored something, it's not there. It's not in my vision, it's not in my feeling, it's not in my day-to-day life, it's gone. To the extent that when I go for someone else's passing away, I do not focus on death even then. That this is my reality as well. So there's an interesting dialogue in the Yaks Prashan when the Yudhishthir is asked by the Betal, Kim Ashcharyang, what is the surprising thing of life? And he says it's surprising that people go for a cremation, see somebody dying, but they never think they will die. So spirituality begins with two aspects of life. One is the pain which we want to ignore, and the death we want to ignore. These are the two things which make us spiritual. If we stop ignoring them, we live them, then we know their reality. We know the reality of life, that there is these two things are the energy centers of making us spiritual people. Because pain and death we don't want. We want happiness and we want it forever. So these are the two things which are necessary for us. Guru calls it Amrit. We are all looking for Amrit. And he explains it also in the Shabad in the form of Jal. When somebody is thirsty, we feel thirsty, we want to drink. That's how this inner seeking of spirituality is also related to my experience of thirst. I am seeking something intensely, and we all are seeking that. So Guru Amar Das Maharaj says that Surn और मुंजन अमृत खोज दे, so Amrit Gurte Paya. That all of us, Sur, Nar, Mun, Jan, all the people who live, Amrit Khoj, we are all seeking Amrit. Amrit is happiness unconditional, love unconditional, where there is no death. So Amrit Gurte Paya. He also says, you will find this with your Guru. So we will come to the Guru aspect later. First, we need to first understand that how we don't even seek the Guru. There is no Guru in the picture right now because we are seeking something in the wrong place. We have often spoken about Rabia, the Sufi Sant from Iraq. That story we've heard many times. In another place, Maharaj says, just Jal Nidkaran, tum jagaye. So Amrit Gurte Paya. Again he says, you have come to this physical form of life because you're thirsty for something. You're looking for that Amrit Jal. That the Guru will give you. In our day-to-day life, these are not the issues we explore. We don't explore that I am looking for happiness. Am I looking in the right place? Then comes the structure of how life is structured, how it is created, and how I am assuming some things about physical life which are contrary to its own structure. So there is an inner conflict. Life is created in duality. Do hi kudrat saji hai, asa diwar. Maharaj says, Creator has created two. And we are always living in this physical reality with the other. So there are actually three. Me, the other person, and the process of living. So three is what creates life, which is the basis of these three energies. You will find the Trinity to be visited in most religions. Trinity will be there in some form or the other. So life is created out of two. Two meaning that one cannot exist without the other. I do not have any absolute realities, a physical reality of life. They are always dependent on something else. Good is dependent on bad. If I say what is good, you'll have to say that which is not bad. What is happy? That which is not sad. What is rich? That which is not poor. What is superior? That which is not inferior. What is beautiful? That which is not ugly. So this entire structure of life is a creation of two energies intertwined. In Chinese they call it yin yang. You can see that circle they make, and so there are always these two. So that means when I am seeking happiness, sorrow comes with it, because they live together in creation. In this physical creation, they live together. They are not absolute entities in life. And I am looking for this happiness in this physical life. I go out seeking happiness, and that is how I structure my entire life. Everything which I do is dependent on this seeking. And this seeking of happiness is bringing sorrow with it. So I quickly live through the experience of happiness and end up with sorrow. So my seeking of happiness is what is going to bring sorrow and happiness and sadness. I don't know this. I am not aware. So I keep expecting happiness, and I get disappointment with unhappiness. So this is the expectations of life. No. Maharaj addresses it in a very different way. That is why he says, Asa Maya Nirasa. Do not build your hope on this asa of life, in these expectations of life. That is why Hukum Razai, which is acceptance, is what is the basic flavor of life. I live through the experience of life accepting what the conditions around me are. That doesn't mean I don't change them. I change what I want to change or can change. But first I have to accept that there is no such thing as absolute happiness in this physical life. Because every condition of happiness changes. There's the physical reality of life. There's a change happening constantly. So I bought a new dress, and a few days it became old. So it no longer gives me the happiness it gave me. Or I went out for a meal and I dropped something on it. The happiness became sorrow. It's dependent on a certain condition. Any happiness which is dependent on certain conditions is actually unhappiness. And we are constantly living in this domain of seeking happiness in the physical. So there is a constant conflict, a chaos within us. And we don't know why it is happening. I did nothing wrong. Why did it happen? So the wrong and right is also defined in this way by me. I build a certain conditions of right in life, and wrong comes with it. Everything which I have built on in this physical platform is not absolute, is not stationary, it's not permanent, and it is not unchanging. This is my reality. I have not accepted this. I'm living a life of expectation. I get wealth, I'll be happier. Momentarily. Not ultimately. Even if I have found happiness with wealth in this life, there will be two things which come with the wealth. The fear of losing it, and the necessity to guard it. So Sufi says, don't get so much wealth that you put all your life energy into guarding it all your life. And ultimately you will leave it. We don't want to leave these, discuss or search these realities. We don't want that. We don't want to search this reality of life. We want to live in the darkness and feel we know the light. Most of us. So Maharaj says, Sukh dukh doidar kapde, pehle jai manuk. Sukh and dukh, happiness and sorrow are a set of clothes. You wear one and then the other. सुख को मांगे सबको दुख न मांगे कोई सुखे को दुख अगला मनमुख बूझ न होए. Everybody asks for happiness, but with happiness sorrow comes, and we don't realize it in our state of mind. In the manmukh doesn't realize that happiness will bring sorrow, the seeking of happiness. Then what is the solution to happiness? We will come to that. Is there any happiness which is without conditions? Where does it lie? How do I visit it? How do I live it? How do I know it? Jean-Paul Sartre says that hell is the other people. So this is the other thing which happens in life. My whole life is defined by the other, by society. What will they say? What will they think? I sit for a dinner, somebody passes a remark, I get upset. Somebody praises me, I get happy. So I am dependent on the other. My mood, my happiness depends on the other's judgment of me. And that's the hell. I don't know who I am. I am dependent on the other to know what they think about me, and that becomes my reality. If today they are happy with me, they will make me happy. But if tomorrow they are not happy with me, that will make me sad. So my happiness is dependent on the other's judgment of me. I don't know who I am. This is my other reality. I don't know who I am. What is me? Who am I? Are these thoughts me? Because that's all I live with. I only live with this constant jargon of thoughts. The only escape I may get is when I focus on my desires. In the moving thoughts, I have a desire. I want a companionship. I want a nice car. I want to read a book. That will focus my energy. That will bring my dhyan into one aspect of this whole picture and temporarily give me relief. Temporary relief. Dhyan is now not stopped wandering temporarily. And the moment dhyan stops wandering, we will find rest. We will find peace. We will find calmness. We will find centering. So the moving mind is our problem. The moving thought mind is our pain. It's the reason why we are in pain. And we don't know how to go beyond this moving thought mind. It completely engulfs us. Our own mind experience is only moving thoughts. We don't know thoughtless mind. We don't even want to know. Some of us have assumed there is no such thing. Fair enough. Ignorance is not bliss. I am ignorant of the complete picture of life. I see only half of it or 1/3 of it, and I take some calls. And I miss out what is life completely. And that leads me to go in the wrong direction. I have not seen the map completely and I am driving on the road. I don't know where this is going and I drive it. This is my experience of life. So what is it? Well, if I have a good career, I have wealth, my children are doing well, I will be happy. This is a misnomer. There is no such thing. But assuming I will be happy. Assume for a minute I will be happy and completely happy. What about death again? What is my answer to death? What if all these conditions are gone? Then what will happen to life? I don't have this issue and I don't discuss this issue. I don't explore it. I don't search it. So Maharaj talks about spirituality and religion with the visitation of death. पहला मरण कबूल, जीवन की छड़ास, हो सबना की रैन का तबाव हमारे पास. First accept that there is death. And stop living in expectations of the eternal happiness from this life. Temporary happiness, no issues. If we accept that today's happiness can be sorrow tomorrow, if I accept that I get into the car and I have to get off, there are no conflicts. But if I do not accept that I have to get off the car, when I reach the journey I don't get off the car, then how will life proceed? How will this chaos be sorted out? That is our whole experience of life. Our whole experience of life is based on assumptions. There is no reincarnation, there is no death. I will be happy if I do this. All these are conditions which are assumptions, not reality. Life has its joys and sorrows. Life has its highs and lows. And there is no harm in living them. I am not saying that ignore happiness in life and don't experience life. That's not what Guru says either. But accept that this one permanent happiness which we are seeking doesn't exist in this realm. Asa mahe nirasa. Don't live in this expectation that this life will be permanently give us happiness, physical experience of life. So Maharaj explains this to us and says that we have lived through many lifetimes, many relationships, many families, and we are also tired. In all these experiences, there is no absolute which we carry with us. What I was yesterday, what was my past life, even if I know it, it's irrelevant. My today is what my whole journey is so far. My state of mind today is my entire experience of all the journeys of my lifetimes. Even if I knew all my lifetimes, it doesn't change anything. In fact, it will confuse me more. So then the other issue which rises in this form of this way of our life is worry, fear, and desire, trishna. These are the companions of the ego mind. Then there is another assumption that I must always save myself. I have to save myself. If I am not, then nothing is. Well, that's partly true. Because my whole experience of life is through I. If I am not, then what is there? But there is one reality about this I, that the experience of that eternal part of life, that stable part of life, that part of my mind which is superior to the moving mind, can only be visited when I park my eye outside. When I willingly give up the eye, this eye will not be able to visit that mind. Guru Maharaj calls it Naam. Home naame naal virodh hai. Or hukam. Nanak hukme je bujhe, to home kahe na koi. One who knows hukam, he knows I am not a permanent reality. So this I, this me, this body, this mind which is moving, this conditioning is not a permanent reality. It is not forever. It will wander forever, or it will find rest. That is the structure of who I am. But the I will certainly be shredded in the end of the road of this physical body. Like a canvas, someone has painted some scenery on a white canvas. At the end of the road it gets removed and you have a new painting. So is life. I go through this life. I don't find that mind which is stable. I don't find that part of me which doesn't change. I don't find that mind which is not thinking mind. And then what happens? Then this I has to go. Because now, if this journey has to go ahead, this non-changing mind will carry the baggage of the karam mind. All that has happened with me so far. But my identity will go. I will no longer be the same person, Sunita or Rajbir or whatever. I will be someone else in some other form, some other shape, some other place. Conditions are changing. This is the wandering person now, constant wandering. Why is this become my result of this life? Is because I've only lived the wandering mind. I haven't lived that mind which doesn't wander. So at death, I will keep wandering. How do we know Guru Sahib says this? Punni papi akadna hai. कर कर करना लिख ले जाओ, आपे बीज आपे ही खाओ, नानक हुक्मी आवो जाओ. He says pun and pap are sin and doing good are not just mere words. Kar kar karna, as you do, is written in your mind. It's recorded instantly. Kar kar karna likh la jao. Ape beej. This is the seed mind. You have created a seed with your doing. With our doing, we create a seed. So this is the other nature of this mind. It's a trap. Whatever I have done, I have to live the result of that, good or bad. So I have to be connected to that seed and the result of that seed. Kar kar karna likh la jao, ape beej ape hi khao. Your own seeds you will sow. Nanak hukmi avo jao. In the hukam of the Creator, you will wander. This is our reality. If we have not transformed ourselves from the moving mind, explored this mind which never changes, and we will wander, keep wandering. New birth, new name, new people, new environment, and we have no control. The only control we have is what we did, the result of that. And often enough we sometimes live the same environment, same kind of people keep coming back into our lives. What I'm trying to say is that this is an important part of our life, this whole creation which we live, this physical life. But it's not the complete life. It is the potential life. It's the It's that life which has a potential to find that part of our life which is permanent, which is beyond time, Akal Murat, which is beyond death. Now, we need to explore this mind. So we haven't found this mind. If you go into seeking, most of the people today who are preaching or talking about spirituality, most of them do not talk about this turiya, the conditionless mind, the mind where there is no form, shape, no time. They do not talk about this part of our mind which is never changing, because it can't be transferred by just mere talk. It's an experience. So what are we left with? We are left with what we have done and the results of that, the worry for my tomorrow, because we are all living an unstable environment. We don't know what tomorrow will become, what tomorrow will bring to my door. So fear. And then I'm seeking happiness in the middle of all this, so my desires are driving my life, my Trishna. Gautam Buddha says Trishna is dukh. My desires are for happiness, but they give me dukh. So my next step to this exploration would be, what do I seek? Where do I seek? How do I know? Can I know? Can somebody tell me and I assume it and that's it? Now this is the other thing which happens, religion. Spirituality is about going beyond the identity mind. But all of us use religion for making it a part of our identity. We don't use religion to go beyond our identity, beyond the I, beyond the conditions of my life. We don't do it. Most of us don't. Maharaj says, Nanak Sache Naam bin kya tikka kya tag. Without Naam, which is that part of my mind which is beyond the ego, without that, what tikka, what tag, what are these signs of religion and spirituality you are talking about without knowing Naam? That is the reason Maharaj is wanting to break the barriers of structured religion. Na ko Hindu, na Musalman. Experience the spirit, the Naam. And that is what will redefine me, my society, and entire life. The reason today we are all in conflicts everywhere in the world is because we are seeking our happiness by others' pain. Most of us are sadists. That's why the newspaper carries all the negative news on the front page. Somebody else is bad is what makes me happy, because I'm anyway otherwise depressed and sad and lost and lonely. If I read someone else has lost something, had made a loss, had a problem, got into jail, we feel happy. I'm not the one. So the other's negative energy becomes my stimulant. Or I make a game out of life. I have to win, so other has to lose. So the other's loss becomes my victory. So always there is this other. And this game of the other is hell. If you try and figure it out in detail, you'll always come out with unhappiness in the end. So what is the story of spirituality then? This entire world which exists out here with so many segments and divisions built into it. In every layer, race. In our society it's even worse, it makes it caste. Then we divide with religion. So my religion, your religion. And then even in religion, I seek the structure part, not the non-structure part. I will do the Sharia, the written part, but not the spirit part. I don't know the experience of the soul. I am focusing entirely on the structure, the seen, the written, but not that which is unwritten, not the love to be felt, not the unconditional happiness, if there is such a thing. I am not focused on that. So I will do some rituals and I will satiate myself that I have found it. I went and I went to the Gurdwara, or I went to the Mandir, or I went to the church, and I did this. So I'm okay. I'm looked after. These are again assumptions. Unless I have found my inner mind, which doesn't change, unless I have found my stable mind, which doesn't have aberrations, insecurities, which doesn't have conditions for happiness, unless I have found that mind, I am a wandering seeker. I am in doubt, question mark. I may be wanting to seek it, but I can't measure this now. In this spiritual life, we can't measure. But certainly, if we search, then we have to first step, find a stable mind within us. Thir ghar baiso arjan pyare. Thir ghar, stable mind. Satgur tumre kaaj savare. And Guru will solve all your issues. All your issues. When I say all the issues, the first thing we think is that means my loan will get repaid. That's not what it means. All our issues about life are not only about the physical life. It's not only about our careers and families. Actually, this part is to be lived in, experienced, only to understand what life really is. But we don't live through its pain, so we don't know what it really is. We ignore the pain. Maharaj, this physical life is not mine forever. It's an opportunity life. This identity is not forever. This is again an opportunity. Bhai prapat manuk de horiya, Gobind milan ki hai teri bariya. It's a chance to meet your source mind. Gobind, I define the Gobind as my source mind. Where does my mind come from? What is my source? Where does these thoughts, if I keep searching these thoughts, where do they come from? The water is turbid in a pool. We don't know what the surface is. If we let the dust settle, we can see what does the mind hold. We let the thoughts settle and we will find the calmness and we will find peace. And that is the launching pad for finding unconditional happiness. We define everything with our thoughts. Even when you're listening, we are listening to the Guru. When Maharaj says this clearly, he says, Dithe mukt na hovai. You are not going to get free by just bowing your head toward with the Guru Granth Sahib. It's not going to happen. We go to the Bangla Sahib, do prasad, take a matha and we come home. This is not going to happen. This inner transformation is an essential aspect of knowing religion, knowing spirituality, knowing life, knowing who I am, knowing who the Creator is, knowing what life is. And without this, pain will not go away. Jo sukh ko chahe sada, saran Ram ki le. Wandering is all that will be left. Kya pav ye sat sucha hoye. Why are you wandering? Maharaj says, Kya pav ye? Sach sucha hoye. When you will know truth when you have become pure. When you have cleansed your mind, dropped your thoughts. पर ये मत पापा के संग ओ तोपे नामे के रंग. So Maharaj, where is this happiness which is without conditions? Where is this love where you don't know the source? Because if there is a love for a source, with a source, and the source changes, then there is no love. There is no permanence in this life we are living. And we expect it to be permanent. That's why Maharaj says, Hukam Razai Chalana. Maharaj says this. Then what do I do, Maharaj? What is this unconditional happiness? Is there such a thing? This word Anand has no opposite. It's an absolute word. It's not in duality. This is the reason why it's not in duality. There is no opposite to Anand. It's unconditional happiness. What does it mean? Chalte o man rakhe amrit chakhe. Maharaj says, drop the moving mind and you will experience Amrit, Anand and love. Drop the moving mind. Who is moving this mind? What is these thoughts? Where are they coming from? They come from the I, most of them. Some of them come from the universal mind. But most of them are coming from, the jargon is coming from me. So, if I observe these thoughts and become a witness to them, then I realize I am creating these thoughts. And I can drop them. These thoughts will go away. Now, how do I do this? If I am not able to sit and let them drop, then what do I do, Maharaj? In the Siddh Gosht, Guru Maharaj was asked this question, and he says, Bin naame man tek na tikhi, Nanak bhukh na jaye. Without Naam, the mind will not rest, will not find stability. So unconditional happiness is Anand. First let's clear this. And Anand means that happiness which is forever. That is the state of my inner mind, Maharaj. My inner source mind, where my ego can't go. Like I take off the shoes at the door before I enter a house. The ego has to be left outside this inner house. Thir ghar. Dasme dwar. This is where there is this celebration is happening of life. And I have no inkling. I have no idea. Suppressed within my moving mind, right in the deep depth of my mind, there is this experience of celebration without reason. I just have to look inwards and I get absorbed in this celebration of love and happiness. Why I don't know this? Is because first thing, I have not known a stable mind. And second, I have not found Guru. The one condition for this inner mind, the one condition for this Anand mind is the Guru's meeting. That's the only condition. Anand paya meri maaye, Satguru mein paya. If any of you have any questions, you can start writing them out. We can discuss them at the end of that, because it's nearly 1 hour. So Guru comes out of my seeking. We'll visit this one Shabad of Bhagat Kabir. Bed kate bif tera pai dil ka fikr na jaye. In this ego mind, I pronounce my knowledge, I discuss, debate about life, but I'm constantly worried because I have found nothing. I'm empty inside. I'm lonely within. I'm bored with what is around me. I will always be bored if I don't have something to do. But if I have nothing to do and I have this experience of Anand, then how I will get bored? Then Anand is constantly with me. He says, Tuk dam karari jo karo. Again he says, rest your mind. Tuk dam karari jo karo. Make your mind non-moving. Hazir huzur khudai. And you will see the Creator present in front of you. Living energy. Jagat jot. Bande khoj dil har roz. Seek and search your mind. Everything, every answer to life's problems is within the mind. Go into the mind. Maharaj says, Bande khoj dil har roz, na fir pareshan. Then there are no worries left. Guru Sahib is explaining to us how life's journey will culminate in success. Darog pad pad khushi hoye, bekhabar baat bakaye. He says people are debating, reading, and feeling happy that they know. By reading something about spirituality, they think they know. Bekhabar baat bakaye. They are unaware. Maharaj says, Hak sach khalak, khalak mein aane, sham murat na hai. Hak sach khalak, the Creator. Khalak mein aane, lives in his creation. Khalak, the Creator is all around us, Maharaj. The Guru is everywhere, within and without. I am only the non-real person in this whole game. This I is only a temporary phenomena, a droplet in an ocean, which will merge back into the ocean. This I is not, and that's what we have made most important. So it's therefore the crisis. The I is not a permanent thing, then I is not a permanent reality, but I have only experienced this I in life, which is to be going away, which has to be dropped to experience life. Then he says something very interesting. Asman mein aanne leheng darya gusal kardan bood. In your 10th door of your inner mind, there is a river of happiness. Leheng darya. You bathe in that. Bande khoj dil har roz. Kar fakar daim laye chashme. Then this idea of seeing, I can't see God. He says kar fakar daim. Stabilize the mind. Laye chashme. And you will find these eyes. Jai taha mawjood. That He is everywhere. There is, creation is everywhere. The Creator is everywhere. Allah paakang paak hai. Shak karo je dusar hoye. He says He is the purest of the pure, the Creator. And don't doubt, because there is no other. Kabir karam kareem ka, o kare jane soye. This is the gift of the Creator. Now we come to this experience of Guru. The experience of Guru, when it happens with Karam, with the Kirpa of the Gur Prasad of the Guru. The Muru Mantra ends in Gur Prasad. We are seeking the Ek Omkar, and we will find it not in this I. The I is not I is not a solution. It can't find this Guru. It can't find the Gur Prasad. It can't find the Anand. The Anand is found in dropping the I with the Guru. When I meet the Guru, then the experience of Anand opens. Unconditional love and happiness. Amrit. Jis jal nid karan tum jagaye. So now the apt question which Philip, Philip is the name, is asking us is how do I go beyond the moving? Philji, how to go beyond the unmoving, beyond this which I think is real. This is the Shabad experience. Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao. Experience the Shabad. Haume Shabad jalaye. Shabad is what is going to transcend the ego. Haume kitho upje, kit sanjam hai jaye. Haume eho hukum hai, paiye kirt phiraye. Haume dirag rog hai, दारू भी इसमा है कृपा करे जे अपनी तो गुर का शब्द कमाए. So how do I experience the Shabad? गाविए सुनिए. Sing with love the Shabad. Listen to it with all your energy. That will make us experience Dhyan. Dhyan is the thoughtless mind, the Surat. So this is the meditation, Shabad. Mool Mantar or any other Shabad which you think. Submerge yourself into this. Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao, with love. Dukh par har sukh kar le jaye. The pain life will go away and you will find the door to your inner happiness. Suniye maniye man kita pao. Listening to Shabad by reciting it at the same time. Not only just listening. This is not listening on the recorder, on the YouTube. No. Our entire senses to be absorbed by Shabad. Man mandar tanves kalandar. He says, ek shabd mere pran basat hai. Entire energy, all your pran, all your energy absorbed into Shabad Maharaj. That is how intensely this experience has to be done. That's the transformation which will happen. Shabad is the Guru. Shabad Guru Sutun Chela. So pick up the Mool Mantar and make it a part of your soul, part of your breath. So much that there is no difference between me and the Mool Mantar. Then the experience of Shabad transcends moving mind. Meditate on the Shabad with your breath involved in it. Use Vaheguru, then use Mool Mantar. This takes us to a transformed being, which is Maharaj in the Asadivar says that he's transformed Jin manas te devte kiye. From a human being he has become a devta. Dev meaning what? Dev meaning that person who has experienced the source mind. Kartana lagi var. Nar te sur hoy jaat nimak mein, Maharaj. Nar te sur hoy jaat. From a human being to superhuman, sur. Nimak mein, flash of an eyelid. It's not an issue of eons, of times, or many lifetimes. Shabad will absorb and make us go beyond the ego. Sing the Shabad with love even once is enough for one lifetime. With such intensity that the mind is dropped. And then we will know that I have entered the realm of Anand. We will know it. It's there with us then. It's not a judgment which some third person will give us. Okay. Now, Gobind Preet. How does it come? Stability of mind by Shabad. Shabad is the anchor where you tie the mind and it gets anchored. When you're always in this Maya, so what? While living this Maya, experience the Shabad. mind keeps wavering. That's the problem. Then let's focus on Shabad, Naam. Bin Naame man tek na tikhi, Nanak bhook na jaye. Or then, if there are issues like this which we can't solve, then do seva. You are at home, do clean the kitchen, clean your utensils, go and do something good for someone without asking for return. Make a small menial tasks where the mind gets broken up into small tasks. So the thought is gone. Gurdjieff is one teacher. A professor went to him. She said, I have trouble with my thoughts. He made her break the rock for 3 days, from which the road is made. And after the 3rd day, she said, I have become very calm. So we do something where the thought is not needed. Small task, where you don't need to think. Cleaning a utensil, cleaning the car, watering the plants. Do small things which are where the thought is not needed. The thought will drop. But remain with it for some time. That's why Maharaj says that with the Sant, I was with the Sant and I looked after, did small menial things. Pani pakha piso, Sant aage. I fanned his room, gave him water, cooked for him, did small things. Seva. Make seva the Simran. So the mind will become rested. Mind will find its rest. We are crowded with daily humdrums of life. So we are. Who is causing this? I am. This is my choice. Drop the humdrum for some time. You have work schedules, do your work. After you have finished your work schedule, you give it 10 minutes of watching your mind without participating with it. We are energizing the thoughts. Don't energize it. Has to be stable spiritually, with Maya pulling us. So what? Everything pulls and pushes. That is happening. Have you put energy into the experience of Shabad? That is important. If while we are living this whole life, we have experienced and put our energy into the experience of Shabad, then it will change everything. While Viche Maya Paya, Guru Amar Das says, within Maya you have found it. This is not a barrier, the Maya. We are not inclined to go into our mind. That's the Maya. That's the problem. There is no Maya. If we have gone and seen something as it really is, Maya means illusion. We know something to be real as it is. There is no Maya then. So, Shabad is the way where this inner transformation which Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj tells us happens. And what does he say? Kadiye Shabad Sachi Taksal, Jinko Nadar Karam Tinkar. These are the people. They are the blessed ones. Shabad. Kadiye, the mind gets cleansed. It gets worked on. Kadna with Shabad. So we have already done more than an hour today. If there are no other questions, we will culminate the session with Anand Sahib. Kadiye Shabad Sachi Taksal, Jinko Nadar Karam Tinkar. They are living in Gur Prasad, those who live with Shabad, while living this physical life. Changing nothing for now, but everything will change as we go along. Maharaj, our dependence will change on the physical. We will live the physical, but it will not be our foundation. The spiritual will become the foundation. Hanji Maharaj. So there are no other questions. If there are, please raise your hand. We'll wait for them. Otherwise, we do Anand Sahib.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Thank you so much, all of you. ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।